Hare Krishna, dear friends. So I'm recording this over a few days. It's a very big purport. And today is Friday, September 22nd. It is Sri Radhastami Day. Haribol Srimati Radharani Ki Jai. So I'm very blessed that the verse about Sri Radha is the verse we're speaking on Radha's appearance day. Haribol. Let's continue with the purport. All these arts, which exhibit their eternal forms, are always present in the spiritual realm of Goloka as elements of spiritual emotion or rasa. In the earthly world, these arts have been generously displayed in the divine leelas of Vraja by the spiritual potency known as Yogamaya. And we discussed in the past what Yogamaya is. As Rupa Goswami states, sadhanatahi shantita, they always exist unlimitedly, or these are always and unlimitedly present. Krishna is constantly revealing his beauty and infinite pastimes in Goloka. Occasionally, his pastimes are also made manifest in our earthly realms. So we get a few here in Gokula, but they're all there in Goloka complete. The Supreme Lord Sri Hari also exhibits his divine activities like birth in the company of his divine associates. His playful spiritual energy fills the hearts of his associates with spiritual emotions and aligns with Krishna's will. The divine activities that are exhibited in our earthly realm are his visible pastimes. However, these activities exist in their invisible form in Goloka, beyond the reach of worldly understanding. In his visible pastimes, Krishna resides in Gokula, Mathura, and Dwarka. The pastimes that are invisible in the three places are made visible in their spiritual counterpart, Vrindavan. So there's, in Goloka, all the pastimes are there. In Gokula, just a few. And Gokula also manifests itself as Mathura and Dwarka, where Krishna lives outside of Vrindavan. The conclusions drawn make it clear that there's no difference between the seen and unseen activities. Jiva Goswami, in his commentary on this verse, his elaboration in Ujjvala Nilamani and in the Krishna Sandarbha, notes that Krishna's visible activities are the products of his spiritual chit potency. When associated with the mundane aspects, they exhibit certain features that appear real due to the influence of the limiting power of Maya. But these do not exist in the transcendental reality. The defeat of demons, forbidden romantic relationships, birth, and so on are examples of these particular features. The gopis are manifestations of Krishna's ecstatic energy, and thus are essentially his. How can there be inappropriate relationships in this context? The apparent inappropriate relationships of the gopis found in the visible activities are merely the earthly reflections of the transcendental truth. So this is a really incredibly deep point, and we're going to get into it even more. But we're starting. So Krishna is in Goloka with the gopis in Goloka. In Goloka, the gopis are 100 trillion% in love and with Krishna, engaging in Krishna's activities. That's their consciousness. When the gopis are here in the earthly region in Gokula, it's the same. They're 100%, billion% absorbed in Krishna as they are in Goloka. And in truth, they mostly can't tell the difference between the two. But from our perspective, we see the gopis being married, having children, engaged in material activities, the cowherd men and such, and we see them, their external reflections of themselves, as material. And we think they're in the material world like us. They're engaged in material activities like us. They're giving birth, they're getting married, and they're having illicit relations because they're married. And how come they're with Krishna, this, that. But that's because we are seeing it in the material realm. And so I'm going to give an example, which I think I've already given, but I've done many videos and I don't remember. But if you are on death row and you are slated to die for whatever, some terrible crime, and the governor of the state decides to come down to the prison and visit you and pardon you, which happens. You are in prison and you're subjected to the laws of prison. The governor is now in the prison with you, but is not subjected to the same laws that you are. You may think the governor is part of those laws because there's bars on the gates and there's security guards and there's all the things. And so you may think the governor's in prison with me, subjected to the laws that I'm subjected to. But in reality, though they're in the same space, they are subjected to two completely different sets of laws and rules. The governor can leave. The governor's protected under a whole different space, and the prisoner is under a very rigid set of rules. So, with that being said, those of us that are in this material world subjected to the rules and laws of the material energy are essentially in prison. When we see the land of Vrindavan, the people in Vrindavan, the gopis, the mothers and fathers and such, we think they're subjected to the rules of material nature, but they're subjected to the rules of Yogamaya, completely separate than we are. They don't know that they're actually even in the material world. It's a very different thing. I hope that makes sense. The underlying meaning of Jiva Goswami's words, once revealed, will erase any doubt for the readers. Jiva Goswami is our advocate for transcendental truth. Therefore, he is always guided by Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. Also, in Krishna's activities, Jiva Goswami is one of the Manjaris. Hence, he is familiar with all transcendental realities. So Jiva Goswami is actually part of Goloka Leela and is here in this material realm. And so he has a first-hand experience of the truth of it all. Okay, some people failing to grasp the essence of these statements assign their own interpretations and engage in pointless disputes. Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami argue that there is no fundamental difference between the visible and invisible divine play, leelas, the only distinction being that one manifests in the earthly realm while the other does not. In the transcendental realm, both the observer and the observed are in the state of absolute purity. Pretty obvious. A particular blessed individual, when favored by Krishna, can break free from worldly bonds, enter the spiritual domain, and savor the various spiritual essences, rasas, available during their spiritual journey. Just like the governor who comes to pardon the death row inmate. Only such an individual can witness and enjoy the perfect pure Leela of Goloka, the highest abode. However, individuals with such receptive qualities are seldom found. Means that you could be here in this region and be completely awakened, favored by Krishna, and witness the Leelas of Krishna, visible and invisible. Those who exist within the earthly realm can also experience the chit rasa, spiritual essences, by the grace of Krishna, achieving a state of realized service. Such individuals can perceive the divine play of Goloka as it manifests within the earthly play, Leela, of Gokula. There is indeed a difference between these two types of truth seekers. Okay, let's continue. Until one reaches a completely transcendental stage, their vision of Goloka's divine play will be obstructed by residual limitations. Furthermore, the vision of the transcendental reality varies according to one's level of self-realization. As such, perceptions of Goloka can also differ. So again, how do we get the vision to be able to see Krishna's Leela? It's through self-realization. The more one can understand who they actually are, that covering is removed of the self, the more you will be able to understand your connection with Krishna, the more Krishna will reveal himself to you, and the more you'll see the pastimes of Goloka. Those individuals who are excessively entangled in worldly affairs lack devotional insight. Some of them are trapped by the diverse illusions of this deceptive world, while others seek self-obliteration under the sway of specific knowledge that pushes them away from their center, the desire to merge with the impersonal Brahman, for example. Although they may witness the Supreme Lord's earthly divine play, they can only perceive it in a materialistic sense, devoid of its transcendental reality. Hence, the realization of Goloka, the spiritual realm, emerges according to one's spiritual maturity and self-realization. The principle is this: even though Gokula, the earthly counterpart of Goloka, is holy and pristine, it manifests on the earthly plane through the influence of the spiritual power Yogamaya. In both visible and invisible aspects of the transcendental regions, there are no impurities, taints, or imperfections like those found in the limited world. The only difference lies in the level of realization, which corresponds to the spiritual maturity of the truth seeker. So if you think about it, Gokula and Goloka are exactly the same, identical. They're both chit potency, they're both Yogamaya, they're both Krishna's Leelas, they're both the same characters, even the same plays are happening in both places. One has all of them, one has few of them. The difference is the person, the truth seeker that's involved, may have limited revelation in witnessing the pastimes, where in Goloka, there are no limited truth seekers. Everyone is fully transcendental. Everyone is fully self-realized. I hope that makes sense. Impurity, harmfulness, foreign elements, illusion, ignorance, unholiness, inadequacy, insignificance, and coarseness belong to the perception, intellect, mind, and ego dulled by the material nature of conditioned souls. They're unrelated to the essential nature of transcendence. The more one is free from these blemishes, the better they can realize the absolute. The truth revealed by the scriptures is freed from impurities. However, the realization of those seeking this knowledge can be flawless or flawed, depending on their individual level of realization. The 64 arts mentioned earlier exist in their fullest form only in Goloka, the highest realm of the divine. Any unwholesomeness, insignificance, or coarseness associated with these arts depends on the level of self-realization of those seeking the knowledge of the absolute. And that would only be those that are here witnessing it in Gokula. So you may be in Vrindavan and you may see dirt and trash and pigs and people and all sorts of social customs which don't fit, and this, that, and you become critical and you become coarse. You're not seeing it. You may see a little spark of the spiritual realm, but you're not seeing the spiritual realm. And that's just the case. Many people, even now, can be right in the center of Gokula, and all they see is material energy. That's it. According to scholars Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, all the divine pastimes that have been in Gokula, the earthly manifestation of Goloka, are present in Goloka with absolute purity and free from all limitations. Therefore, even the divine Paramarship exists in Goloka in an inconceivable purity based on the same logic. All manifestations by the Chit spiritual energy Yogamaya are pure. Therefore, all the divine Paramarship is a creation of Yogamaya. It is necessarily free from all contamination and belongs to the absolute reality. Let's take a moment to reflect on what the absolute reality truly is. Rupa Goswami states, Purvokta, and then some verses, some Sanskrit, Sarataha. In connection with these verses, Jiva Goswami, after thoughtful consideration, has identified the divine love relationship of Vibrama Vilasa, something that seems different from its appearance. Such are the divine activities like birth and so on, facilitated by Yogamaya. Okay, so we're getting into the meat of this. We got quite a bit left for this purport, but I hope we can focus, because this is really an important point, probably the most important point in the whole Brahma-samhita. Okay, so I'm going to cut it here, and we're going to open up a new video because this point is so important that I want us to be attentive. Okay.